Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this special committee of our Finance and Neighborhoods Committee. It's May 23rd, and the time is 2 p.m. I'm Sally Bagshaw, and I'm joined by Allison McLean in my office today. Thank you so much. And I think the first item of business is that I'm supposed to approve the agenda. I'm hearing no objections from anybody, so the agenda is going to be adopted. We've got 5 items on the agenda, and there is no one here for public comment, so let me just identify what's on the agenda. We've got the reappointment of Christopher Makett, Thais Marbles as members of the Community Involvement Commission, and we will have 3 ordinances relating to historic preservation, adding landmark designation to Parrington Hall, to our Mount Baker Community Clubhouse, and the Seattle Tower on 3rd and University Street in downtown. So one more time, I'm looking for anybody who wants to comment. Doesn't appear that anybody does. So we're going to move right on to our next item of business, unless, Allison, you have any objection. Would you read them in for the appointments?
Absolutely.
And if all of you like to come up.
Oh, yeah, just Hillary. Hillary, you could be on this side. Item number 1, appointment number 01351, reappointment of Christopher Makett as a member of the Community Involvement Commission for a term to May 31st, 2021. And item number 2, appointment number 01350, reappointment of Thais Marbles as a member of the Community Involvement Commission for a term to May 31st, 2021.
Very good. And Hillary, welcome. If you'd like to introduce yourself, and I think are you new to Department of Neighborhoods?
No, I'm not new to the department, but I am new to staffing the commission.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Yeah, so my name is Hillary Nichols. As my day job, I am the coordinator of the People's Academy for Community Engagement, or PACE,
Love that.
Which is Department of Neighborhoods Civic Leadership Program. And I just started staffing the Community Involvement Commission, or the CIC, since this March.
Great. We love that, love the PACE program, and appreciate all that Department of Neighborhoods has done for that.
Thank you.
And I'm glad you're now stepping into CIC. I think it was a great ad.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I think you'd like to discuss, we can read and adopt both of them, but I'd like to hear from you about your recommendations, because one's a reappointment, right?
They're both reappointments,
okay.
Yes. Yeah, so we are hoping to reappoint Thais Marbles, who has been on the commission for about a year. And I actually haven't gotten the chance to meet Thais because she's had some personal obstacles to coming to meetings since March. But I hear that she's a really valuable member of the CIC, and she really wants to be reappointed. And the other members of the CIC have expressed that they would like to have her on as well.
Okay. When we have meetings, can Thais call in if she's available, or does?
That's a really great question. I don't know if they've tried that yet. Most of the things have just prevented her from personally involving in anything, but usually what will happen is they just express that they can't come, and that's kind of how they work with their absences.
Okay.
If they express it, that's okay.
Right.
And then for Chris, I have had the pleasure of working with him. He has been on the commission again for another year, and one great thing what Chris has been working on lately is he's really taken charge of the revamping the public comment process and procedure with the CIC. He's really passionate about making sure that the folks who come and give public comment feel heard and responded to, and that it doesn't just get lost into the ether. And so he's been really taking the charge in that. So reappointing him would be very important to the CIC.
Great. Hillary, since you are working with this commission now, do you want to talk a little bit, just for the record, about what are the goals for 2019 for CIC, and what do you see moving forward?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the CIC right now is operating with 3 different work groups. One is grant making, and in this work group, they're going to be reviewing the city's grants landscape. They're going to be looking at how to improve the process for communities, especially for communities who aren't currently accessing those resources. And they really want to work on developing or advising on consistency across grant programs, clarity, and then collaboration across grant programs as well. And they've met with Teresa Bowie, who is the program manager of the Neighborhood Matching Fund, and they have other plans as well to meet with other grant reviewers. The second work group is right now named Outreach Best Practices. They're sort of a working title, but their task is to survey the major departments like SDOT, Seattle City Light, OPCD, and SPU, and ask them about what their best practices are for outreach and engagement, and they hope to be able to share those across the city. And then the third work group is the Census 2020 work group, and they are going to advise on strategies for reaching historically undercounted communities, and they've been working with Elsa from our department, who is on the Census Task Force.
Excellent. So outreach best practices, I really want to commend Department of Neighborhood, your PACE program, and some of the others that you have done just to reach into communities and find the natural leaders that have both the ability to speak a language and know the culture. I think we've really moved forward with that. And also, thank you and extend my thanks to whoever's working on the grant programs. When I first came here 10 years ago, I could never keep them straight, between what small sparks and when you could apply for something else and when SDOT had a grant. So the fact that we're having one portal now, I think makes a huge difference for the community. So thank you for that. And then on the Census 2020, if you will, if I may ask you to reach out to Councilmember Mosqueda's office as well. She's very interested in the 2020, has been pushing to make sure that people who may or may not be natural citizens, but to make sure that they're counted, that they're involved. So if you just, is it Sejal who's working on that in her office?
I believe it is.
So yeah, that would be helpful. Okay, anything else? Allison, do you think about our appointments here that we should consider?
No, I do not think so.
Okay, well then I would like to move the reappointment of Thais Marbles and also the reappointment of Christopher Maycutt, both members of the Community Involvement Commission. Nobody's seconding this. I'm voting on this, so we'll assume that they pass unanimously. Okay. And this will be off a week because this is a special meeting on Thursday. We won't be voting on it Tuesday after Memorial Day, but the following week.
Okay.
Very good. Thank you so much for coming, Hillary.
Thank you, Councilmember.
I appreciate it. Okay, the next items of business pertain to everybody who's out here in the audience, and you are all such a quiet group. I look forward to having you at the table. Do you want to read both of them in, or three of them in?
Absolutely. Item number 3, Council Bill 119-9530, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the University of Washington Parrington Hall. Item number 4, Council Bill 119-529, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Mount Baker Community Club Clubhouse. And item number 5, Council Bill 119-528, an ordinance relating to historic preservation, imposing controls upon the Seattle Tower.
Very good. Well, thank you all for coming. Jessica, do you want to start with introductions and we'll just go counterclockwise?
Yes. Oh, it's on. My name is Jessie Clausen. I am from McCullough-Hillary, and I'm here representing the owners of the Seattle Tower.
Great. Thank you.
I'm Peter Greaves. I'm president of the Mount Baker Community Club.
Nice to see you again, Peter.
Nice to see you.
And I'm Mark Hannum. I'm the treasurer of the Mount Baker Community Club and also past chair of the Landmarks Preservation Board.
Very good. Well, thank you for your work.
Erin Doherty, Seattle Department of Neighborhoods.
Sarah Sote, Department of Neighborhoods.
Nice to see both of you as always.
Julie Blakesley, land use planner representing the University of Washington.
Nice. Thank you, Julie. And I think Allison would like to kick this off because she spent many years in Parrington Hall. Just kidding. Just.
I'm good, but I did. It's a lovely building.
Very good. Okay, well, which one are we taking first here? We're going to go with UW.
You can tell us. I think
that's item number 3. So it looks Erin and Julie, if you would like to.
Erin has a presentation.
Okay.
Okay.
Follow along.
So we'll start with University of Washington Parrington Hall, but I'll just quickly back up and remind us that the board considers 6 standards. And in addition to choosing at least one, they also have to determine that the building has integrity or ability to convey its significance. So I'm joined today by Julie Blakesley, and this ordinance is to codify the controls and incentives agreement that they signed with Sarah, the city preservation officer. So Parrington Hall at 4105 Memorial Drive, way northeast. This was designated by the Landmarks Board on September 5th, 2018. The board elected standards C, D, E, and F. The controlled features they identified are the building exterior, a portion of the site, which is basically the area just around the building, and a portion of the building interior on the top floor. Parrington Hall was built in 1902 by Josenhans or Josenhans and Allen, depending on how you want to do that. Subject building was originally known as Science Hall and was constructed as part of the university's campus oval plan, originating in 1898. The goal of the master plan was to look at linking together the 4 existing collegiate structures, the administration building that we know as Denny Hall, the observatory, which has since been relocated further north and west, I think, or Lewis and Clark residential halls that both remain today. Science Hall was the 5th major building and continued to serve the engineering and science programs for 30 years. It went on to house the English department and was later renamed after Dr. Vernon Lewis Parrington, a preeminent English professor and Pulitzer Prize winner. In the late 1980s, it became home to the Graduate School of Public Affairs and continues today as the Evans School of Public Policy and Governance.
So can I ask you a quick question? Would you please go back to the previous slide, Aaron? So clearly it's a beautiful red brick building. Is the lower right-hand corner, was it the same color? Was it looks like much lighter.
When I was a student, the building looked pale pink, but it was actually painted white. And it was painted white in 1908 in preparation for the Alaska Yukon Pacific Exposition. So that's why you see the lighter color.
And then did it, I mean,
but the
was
red
it
brick,
sandblasted or what?
in the mid 1990s, the university did strip all the paint off the building and restored the brick finish. Yeah. But it looked pink because the red brick would kind of bleed through the white paint.
Why would they do that? What was the
So
historical
a lot
reason
of the
for it?
buildings that were part of the World's Fair were white, and so they were trying to create this cohesive look
interesting.
Between the new buildings and the existing buildings on campus.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
So,
and the UW, Julie, if I can just ask, you guys are cool with this?
Yes, we are. We're
inappropriate
very excited
way of
about
saying,
it.
but
Yes, we are cool with it.
So how many buildings have landmark status on the campus?
There are about 4 buildings that have national status, and then this is the second of the local landmarks.
Okay.
The first one was the ASUW Shell House, or also called the Canoe House.
Right. Okay. Anything else on this one?
Nope.
Can I ask a question?
Absolutely.
Parrington Hall was recently remodeled, right? Did that impact? No? I thought is it going to be? It's going to be.
Yes.
So is there a problem with
Is
that?
there
or
a
are we
problem with the landmarking, or?
No, we wanted to landmark it so that we could understand for the remodel, what were the appropriate boundaries and features for preservation. But our interest is we have to keep remodeling to preserve our buildings when they're over 100 years old. And so
what are the portions of the interior that need to be?
it's the upstairs, the 2 classrooms at the top where they're circular rooms with roof skylights in them.
Okay.
So it's kind of the open volume of those 2 spaces.
So those will be preserved, or are you saying they need to be remodeled? So the exterior stays the same, but they're remodeled on the interior?
We're only doing some systems upgrades and a few classroom and office upgrades, so it's a partial remodel. And we are just making sure that, in fact, there's a window that was closed up in the past. We're trying to determine if we have budget and such, can we reopen that and restore that? So it's mostly about, the building is not air conditioned, and there are some spaces that are pretty difficult, so we're trying to condition some of the spaces and that. So it's not a
Computer technology improvements on the inside?
Exactly,
Great.
yeah. So you
Sarah.
won't see changes on the outside.
That's great. Sarah?
So Erin and I worked closely with Julie to tailor the controls agreement around knowing that this project was coming so that much of the work that's being done by UW either can be administratively reviewed by Aaron or doesn't need to be reviewed at all by the board.
And so what happens? What was the decision?
So the agreement was signed, and that's what we're codifying here. So as an example of one of those things that we added to the agreement was the plan to, let's see, if you were at the campus today, all of the windows here and wrapping around to the back of this classroom are bricked in. So the goal, and one on this end. And so the goal, as Julie said, if they have budget, is to put back in wood windows to match the original configuration.
Interesting.
So I reviewed that with University of Washington facilities staff and or capital project staff, and approved it.
So you've approved it in advance, so you don't have to come back and ask?
They don't have to come to the board.
Okay, very good. Anything else?
No, that's it.
All right.
Thank you.
Do you want to do these one at a time, or?
Whichever.
All right, well, since we're here, and it's quite easy to do, I'm going to flip here to make sure I've got the right resolution number. This was, all right, so it's Council Bill 119530 relating to historic preservation, imposing the controls upon the UW Parrington Hall. So I'm going to move that this council bill be adopted and move forward. And all these people over here are seconding it. So all those in favor say aye. Aye. No opposed, no abstentions. Let's count on this one being done. Very good. All right, the next item, Julie, you're welcome to stay if you'd like. The next one is our Mount Baker Community Club Clubhouse. Thanks to both of you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Love that clubhouse. So, Erin, do you want to introduce?
Yes, thank you. So this ordinance is to codify the controls and incentives agreement that the city preservation officer signed with the club. So this is Mount Baker Community Club Clubhouse at 2811 Mount Rainier Drive South. The board designated this as a landmark on October 17th, 2018. They selected standards C and D, and they designated the site and the building exterior. This was built in 1914 by Charles C. Dosey, and the organization began in 1908 as the Mount Baker Improvement Club, working to support new municipal improvement projects for the neighborhood like street paving, garbage service, sewer systems, fire stations, etc. They also took on larger lobbying efforts to support better trolley access. They also were in opposition to a planned racetrack, so they had a number of things to think about. The clubhouse, as I said, was built in 1914. It has been a gathering place for community events, speakers, political rallies, and weddings for over 100 years. The club was associated with a Hunter Tract Improvement Company that platted and developed the surrounding residential neighborhood. Like most of Seattle properties at that time, there were restrictive covenants that were placed on properties. And there are two notable court cases in the city that are connected to the neighborhood, where they sided with the appellants who were then permitted to purchase and or build homes in Mount Baker. And the club was, like the neighborhood, primarily segregated until the early 1960s, when a group of younger residents challenged these attitudes. And in 1967, the club adopted new bylaws and a mission of inclusion, which was an example for the rest of the city. And from that point forward, there was a steady increase in diverse membership and leadership, and a change to allow community members to join without owning property. And this eclectic building exhibits mostly craftsman influence, and was designed by Charles C. Dosey. He and his father built a number of private residences in the surrounding neighborhood, including an area named Dosey Terrace. And the home of Charles P. Dosey on 31st Avenue is a designated Seattle landmark. Do you have a Dosey house? Pardon? Do you have a Dosey house? Yeah. And there's an owner of another Dosey house sitting at the table.
Very good. So I would love to hear from you gentlemen. Tell us about it and what you're doing with the club, and how you decided that you wanted to promote this historical designation.
I've been on the board for 10 years now, and it's become recognized as the heart of Mount Baker. So we are a place to gather. We're an important venue for the neighborhood for both entertainment and political discourse.
Oh, yes, I've been there.
You have been there. And discussions of events that are happening in the Rainier Valley. A lot of the planning exercises were held in the clubhouse. We are well used and well worn. We've recently completed a capital campaign and raised the funds to renovate the building, basically patch and paint, but the entire building. And we decided that at this point it would be important to recognize this moment in time and landmark the building at that point. It has been modified over the years. It's not very well documented, so I couldn't really tell you what it was like on the inside of the building at the time. But again, it is a well-used and well-loved landmark in the neighborhood, so we felt like we deserve recognition.
Good. Excellent. Do you have anything else you'd like to add?
No, just that there was some discussion when it was in poor condition, and there was some community suggestions that it be torn down and maybe redeveloped into something else. And so there was
I'm sure there was major opposition to that.
Yeah. So one way to, I think, to answer that was, we did the capital campaign and decided to raise funds for it. And then I think making it a landmark will help ensure that it can survive into the next, foreseeable future intact.
Nice. Do you both live in the area?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very good. Well, thank you for doing that. I mean, it is an extraordinarily beautiful building, and having been there multiple times, I know, as you say, how much it is used and loved. So well done for that. Department of Neighborhoods, anything else? Erin or Sarah, you'd like to add? No. Okay. Anything else? Okay. Well, I'm going to move that we pass this ordinance, and of course, I keep flipping past things here. Sorry. Thank you very much. Keep passing this. So this is Council Bill 119529, relating to historic preservation, imposing the controls upon the Mount Baker Community Club Clubhouse. And I'm going to move that we pass this ordinance. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. None opposed, none, no abstentions. So I think we're pretty good on that one as well. So this also will come to our full council a week from this coming Monday. So it's the week after Memorial Day. All right, Ms. Jessie Clausen, do you want to move on to Seattle Tower?
Let's do it.
Okay. Why don't you tell us a little bit about this, and then I'll ask Erin and Sarah to jump in.
So Seattle Tower is one of those landmarks that was done a long time ago and kind of was never finalized until now.
Like how long ago?
I mean,
it was designated
before I was born.
Yeah.
June 15th, 1977.
That's classic, and it's taken us this long to get the controls.
Well, there was a controls agreement signed, I think in the 80s or 90s, but there were some legal issues with it. And so I renegotiated a new set of controls with the current owner.
All right, very good.
Yeah. Current owners, an affiliate of GAW Capital, which also owns Columbia Center across the street.
And how long have they owned this? I know that there's been multiple owners.
I think it's only
a year or two.
Couple years.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're very supportive of what's going on. No issues. Everybody, I mean, it is a landmark. It's a designated landmark. It's just the controls needed to be redone. So.
Okay. And do you want to talk a little bit, Erin or Sarah, about the controls you've negotiated?
The controls we negotiated, we really worked hard to come up with as many items under administrative review as we could. So signage, security, systems, equipment, lighting, changes that they wanted to make to the interior lobby on 3rd Avenue, some other changes that they wanted to make on the various levels on the exterior outside of the tower. So we had quite a long laundry list of things that I think it'll make it easier for the owner to do what they need to do on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
And the new owner is?
GAW Capital.
And they're willing to go along with this and approved it? And
Yes.
Okay.
Sign the agreement.
Great. Anything else that you would like to add?
Sure. I think this is one of my favorite buildings. It's really an interesting building. The building features multicolored brick that when it was built, required a daily delivery of brick that gradually lightens in color from the bottom to the top of the building.
Was this maybe I'm confused about this, but was that the one that was supposed to look like Mount Rainier?
That is the one.
But it was called Northern Lights Building.
So that's the Northern Life Tower is the former name.
Okay.
It's now known as the Seattle Tower.
Okay.
It also
I was
has...
confused. Seriously, I was like, didn't we just do this? Okay, go ahead.
It has these pier features on the building that are finished with light terracotta that resembles the snow-capped rocky peaks, and that there's these stylized metal rods that resemble evergreen trees that crown the building. It was one of the tallest buildings in the city skyline for a long time. That's no longer the case, but it is still pretty much the most prominent Art Deco building in Seattle.
It's beautiful. We were talking about this earlier, and I was like, I just couldn't get my brain wrapped around this because I know that we've talked about the Northern Lights Building multiple times. So it's now been renamed Seattle Tower.
Yeah. And when you go up in the building, Skanska, for one of their neighboring projects, had the top floor rented as their leasing office because it had great views of their project site. I got to go up there a couple of times. It's this incredible observatory at the very, very tip top. If you ever have the occasion to go up, it's amazing.
What is up there on the top now?
I actually
office
don't know.
space or
yeah,
to be?
office space.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of small office space in the building, like the Seattle Tower. I think historically it's had many different offices because of its relatively small floor plate.
Yeah.
Is it, and it's going to continue to be office, not a mixed use?
No.
All right. Anything else you would like to add? It's beautiful, no question.
No, nothing more.
All right, and you've signed the agreement?
We did.
All
Well,
right.
I didn't, but the client
Somebody did.
Yes.
Okay. And nothing else to add? Then I'm going to move that we pass Council Bill 119528 pertaining to the new Seattle Tower. All those in favor say aye. Aye. And opposed? No abstentions? Done.
Thank you.
Anything else? No, thank you for coming, and thank you, as always, for these really good write-ups. They're fascinating history, but you know who's going to love them is in about 50 years when people look back and go, what'd you do? So I really appreciate you doing that. Okay, well, I think that is the end of our agenda today. So I'm going to just announce that our next meeting of the Finance and Neighborhood Committee will be Wednesday, June 12th. Council members, I hope, will join us for that. Allison McLean, thank you so much for organizing this special meeting, and the meeting's adjourned. Thank you.